Hey everybody, so we're here. Today we are taking a look at an action figure. We're doing an action figure review, this time of the Acid Rain Flame Trooper figure by Ori Toy. Um, this is something that's been on Big Bad Toys for a really long time. This one specifically is super cheap. It's like 20 bucks compared to all the other ones. A lot of the older ones are like really cheap. It's like a 1/18th scale figure. And I don't know, the aesthetic of it and overall design and the feel and the scale remind me a lot of old toys that I used to collect, like the Sigma 6 figures and all that, and just a kind of spaceman looking suit reminds me of Halo, which I was really interested in the story. So I've always wanted to get this. I just never really had a reason for it, and so I just went out and bought it. It was like I was super scared that it was gonna get sold out before I could buy it. I waited on this for years, but I finally went out and got it. So here it is. So this figure is really old. Again, this review is super late, but whatever. I want to talk about it. So right out of the box, you can see my hand right next to it. This box is really small. It's got really nice art. I couldn't find anything. Oh, it's like a piece of hair. I couldn't find anything regarding who drew this or draws the art, period, for all the Acid Rain figures, but it's pretty nice quality. So this is the Flame Trooper. He's not like a named character. It's kind of like an army building set, pretty much, but like with a, I guess, like a slight dystopian aesthetic. Anyway, the actual box, you could say, is this nice, I want to call it an ammo crate. So this is the part that reminds me of Sigma 6, is that the figures came in these ammo crates that you would build and put their weaponry in it. And I've always liked that. Also, this thing's pretty high quality. It's not just like a piece of paper that just slips on. It's actually pretty hard. I would definitely keep that. But anyway, the figure is pretty basic. Again, there's not nothing you can really, not much we can really put in here, but you see it comes with a little foam in there, the foam inserts, and the figure's just there. There was a bunch of plastic in there just to separate it out, but the Flame Trooper does not come with a lot of accessories, no alternative hands or anything. He does come with a few accessories that you can take off and put on. Before we look at the figure, he has a little helmet, which is removable. I will say that it is kind of hard to keep it on him. On the art, it kind of feels like it's supposed to be a bit bigger, or at the very least fit a little bit better. This one feels a bit either warped or it doesn't fit 100% correctly. I mean, it gets in there, but like it's hard to pose him around without getting the helmet off or whatever, so you'll have some trouble with that. Comes with a standard assault rifle. Again, I apologize for anyone that's actually a huge fan of Acid Rain. I actually know nothing about the lore of this. I just saw something and thought it looked cool, and so I bought it. So I assume this is just a standard assault rifle. Because why else would he come with it? He's a flame trooper. It's all one color. There's like some. Oh, actually, this part of the gun is like a lighter shade. It's kind of like this gray, metallic brown color. But it's a pretty solid piece. It feels pretty sturdy. It does look rusty a little bit, kind of like old, disheveled. Same thing with his actual Flame Trooper backpack. I like this part, this chain, which is actually metal, so it actually coils around like that. I think that's a very interesting gimmick. The gun can actually, or sorry, the flamethrower can actually attach to the backpack like so. You do kind of leave that part hanging though, unfortunately. There's not a way for you to coil it up or anything, so there's that. But it does attach to his back through a peg on his back, which fits pretty well. And to do that, you just take the helmet off, slip it past over his head, and you just kind of feel it. You'll feel it. And it's attached. There you go. And the front part, the front plate is made out of a very pliable piece of plastic, so it's not going to get in the way of articulation. Actually, his little gas mask thingy will tend to like rub up against it. So, yes, it's a very good idea that they made that kind of a pliable plastic. Same thing with the helmet, although the helmet is a bit more hard, more rigid, but you can put the helmet on after that. And this is what I'm talking about, where like the helmet doesn't feel like it stays on properly. I don't know. I think I don't know, it's just like his head's kind of more out in the promotional art, but that might just be the way I have him positioned. But yeah, so this is what the figure looks like with all of his accessories on. Well, actually, the gun. No alternative hands. I mean, you don't really need them, but he does have just open hands. The right hand is slightly more open to account for the trigger, but these are pretty much standard with these guys as far as I am aware. But it's a pretty decent looking figure. It's $20. It's painted really well. It's supposed to look dingy, and so they did a really good job capturing like a clean piece of armor underneath all this dirt and grime. And of course, he is a flame trooper, so he's probably going to be covered in a lot of ash and all that stuff. But it does look pretty clean. The paint is pretty consistent wherever it is. The one thing that I will comment on is that it tends to flake off very rarely. Maybe that's just, I mean, I actually haven't seen much of it lately. I didn't really play around with it too much, but right when I took it out of the box, I noticed flakes coming off of it right away. That and the fact that the helmet can't manage to stay on with the backpack on. The hands are a bit hard, so getting the weapons on there might take some effort, but they do fit in there quite nicely once you actually do get them in there. If I can demonstrate on camera, you kind of have to open his hands up a little bit. Make sure it goes past the thumb. See? There you go. And this hand can just go hold on to the grip. That's it. It's actually pretty decently articulated for a 3 3/4 inch 1/18 scale figure. Kind of reminds me of the McFarlane Halo figures, which is why I wanted this in the first place. That and this thing. I really love the aesthetic of the ammo crate as a packaging. But speaking of articulation, this guy is on a double hinge on the neck, so it moves forward and back. Actually, it's on a ball joint on the bottom of the neck and the top of the neck, so you can kind of get some extra range down there. So it moves forward that much, moves back that much. Kind of gets hindered by the chest piece, not even the armor piece that you get attached, but just like the chest itself. These little shoulder pads are on a little. It's kind of like a floating piece. It's just kind of sliding in there, so you can move it forward and backward, and you can articulate it just to account for however you want to pose them. The arms are actually on a swivel and a hinge, so you can turn it around. It's not a ball, so you can turn it all the way around. Our shoulder piece is not going to get in the way. It's actually a butterfly joint in there as well, or maybe that's just a ball joint. It feels more like a ball joint in there. So you can move it forward and back a little bit. Of course, you can swivel at the elbow. Single joint at the elbow. Wrists can swivel and move forward and back. I wish this was side to side instead, but whatever. Same thing for the other arm. There's a ball joint on the torso, so you can move back that much, move forward that much. Pretty good range, actually. No waist articulation. This ammo pouch is a free floating piece, but I think you can take it off if you unplug that, but I feel like that's glued on. Actually, that doesn't feel glued on at all, but I would imagine you're not technically supposed to take that out. The legs are attached on a ball joint, so you can barely get it out there. Well, kind of. It's a pretty good split, actually. You can move it forward a lot, move forward, move back a lot. And then there's a swivel at the top of the thighs, so you can kick up and then move the leg this way just to account for that. Double hinge at the knee. You can see it's flaking off of me. Again, I don't mind it for this figure just because it's supposed to look dingy, and if the paint starts coming off, well then, for this specific figure, I don't mind it. But but buyer beware, that does happen. Again, double hinge, back of the knee. It's sculpted in a way that you get the full range for that. You get a swivel at the top of the, I guess, not even the boot, just a swivel right there. And then you get a hinge, an ankle rocker forward and back, and side to side. I guess foot can go forward and back, and you get ankle rockers, side to side. Ankle rocker's pretty decent. He does come with peg holes, but no figure stand. which I don't know. Some of the joints are on oh god, what do you call that? Ratchet. The knees are on a ratchet, both of them, and the foot hinge is on a ratchet. Nothing else, as far as I can tell. Everything else is just on a regular swivel or a ball joint, but the feet and the knees are on ratchet joints, so it's kind of hard to get him posed. I mean, like, he'll stand, right? But to get him posed a specific way, especially when you have this, because this thing is metal, it kind of does make him a bit, you know, top heavy, so you kind of have to have him arched a certain way to get him to stand. But you can get him to stand. That won't be an issue. Just be warned that he is a bit difficult to work with the backpack on. Not too difficult, but you know what I mean. But yeah, pretty well articulated. Again, it's probably like the cheapest Acid Rain figure out there, and I just love the concept of, because there are named characters that are coming out for Acid Rain. I want to read up on the lore now, but this guy's just a soldier. I don't know what his allegiance is. He could be a bad guy or a good guy. He just looks cool, and that's more than enough for me at the moment. But yeah, that's it for me. Cool figure, $20. Get it off a Big Bad Toy Store. It's called Acid Rain here. It's called the Acid Rain Flame Trooper, and yeah, that's it. If you're into this sort of stuff, definitely give it a look. See, I think this website here, Scronex. I think if you look up Acid Rain, it has its own dedicated website, like acidrain.com or something like that. Oh, acidrainworld.blogspot.com. Take you to all the lore and all that. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.